Hi, friend. Logan Clements here with the Better Events podcast. And in this week, we are thrilled to be sitting down with Queen Noveen. You might recognize her from her TikTok posts or her Instagram reels, but she is a voice actress, live announcer, and actor. And we are thrilled to talk to her about the behind the scenes of what it takes to be a live announcer. And she has some lovely tidbits for you as an event planner, manager, or host who's looking to work with top talent. So without further ado, let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Better Events Podcast. Join two event strategists, Logan Clements and Mary Davidson, who believe we can all create, host, and attend better events. In this podcast, you will learn about event strategy and actions that you can use today as an event host, planner, or manager. Hear directly from the people who are creating innovative and inspiring events today and tomorrow, and grow your business along the way. Now, let's get started, and thanks for listening to the Better Events Podcast.
Hi, friend. Welcome back to another episode of the Better Events Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Logan Clements, and I'm joined by fellow co-host Mary Davidson. And this week, we are thrilled to introduce our guest, Queen Noveen, and I'm going to turn it over to Mary.
All right. Thank you so much. Queen Noveen is an Emmy-nominated on-camera voice actress, live announcer, and actor. Her voice has become an unmistakable force in today's most prestigious entertainment, sporting events, video games, animation, TV, film, commercials, and so much more. So we are absolutely and truly thrilled to have you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to chat with you guys and to talk to someone who also understands what happens backstage and all that kind of stuff in event planning.
Absolutely. We love a good behind the scenes conversation, and we know our listeners are going to too. So it's going to be a good time together today. And before we kind of get into it, is there anything else that you want to add about your bio or anything just to kick us off that you think listeners should know about you?
Yeah, so most people, I would believe, if you're on social media, have discovered me from social media. A lot of the work that I do is in live announce. So I am a voice actor and a live announcer. So I have voice in video games, animation, TV shows, commercials, films, all that kind of stuff. But I've also been the voice of a lot of major award shows in Hollywood and in sporting events. And a lot of the behind the scenes work that I've done, I post that on social media, on Instagram and TikTok. And that's where a lot of people got to know who I am and what a live announcer is and what I do. So a lot of that's from that. And other times it's from seeing these events that I've done on TV as well and hearing that voice and knowing, oh, that's an actual person behind that, not like a Siri or anything like that. No, we're real people. We're here.
Oh, I love it. And yes, listeners, why we asked Queen Noveen is we found her through her social media. We were laughing before we hit record here. Is I definitely found her through Instagram. I am not on TikTok. It was too addicting. Had to get off. So I think I see Queen's content probably 3 weeks after she actually posts it. But we knew that with our interest here in production and behind the scenes of events that we had to have her on. So we are so happy to have you here. And we always start broad on our podcast for our listeners. So do you mind explaining what a live announcer is?
Yeah. So a live announcer is simply a voice that you hear, but you don't see. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So an announcer who generally is used in entertainment for live events, whether it's for broadcasts on TV or award shows, galas, that kind of thing. Again, a voice that you hear, but you don't see, which is essentially where the term voice of God came from. This big, loud, booming voice setting the show and bringing the audience along on the journey.
We love a little VOG, voice of God. It's one of our favorites for sure. So how did you first learn about this, or how did you kind of get into this journey for live announcing and voice acting?
Yeah, so I actually started as a child in theater, doing musical theater and all that kind of stuff. And I really kind of just fell into voiceover and live announcing. I didn't know what voiceover was. I didn't know it was something that you could pursue. And so I was bit by the acting bug when I was younger. I did musicals and theater in high school. I did it in college as well. And all throughout that time, I was complimented on my voice. So after I graduated, I was like, you know what, let me check out this voiceover thing. Let me start taking classes, see what it's all about. And over time, I ended up creating a voiceover demo, signing with an agent. I've been with them for about 10 years now, and they're the ones who sends me auditions. So I get these auditions for animation, video games, and one of the first auditions I got was for the 2017 MTV Video Music Awards, the VMAs. And I had never done live announcing before. I hadn't taken classes on that, but I did have that theater background where I'm not afraid to be in front of an audience, in front of a crowd. And so I auditioned for that. I booked the pre-recorded portion of it, and they said, you know what, we really like you. Let's see if we can have you for the live announcing portion. So I auditioned for that as well. They ended up booking me for that. So I ended up voicing the entire show. And it was such a thrill that the people that I've worked with backstage at these shows, Hollywood is big, but it's also a very small community. So we all work on the same gigs. I see the same people at all these different types of events. And they're like, we would love to have you voice this show. We love to have you voice the People's Choice Awards, the MTV Movie and TV Awards. So I ended up just doing a bunch of that and just kind of just started snowballing from there.
That is very, very cool. And I'm with you that I feel like a lot of folks here in the event world can say, yes, the world is both quite large, but then very small in the niches of what you do. I think it's similar when I do sports. There's a lot of familiar faces.
Yes.
Now, we are just curious about what a typical show and gig looks like to you. And then my technical question for you, Queen Noveen, is who is cueing you in your ear? Is that your show director, or do you actually get just broadcast cue you for some of those live hits?
Very good question. So a typical day looks like for me is a couple weeks leading up to the events. We'll do a couple pre-records, whether that's at my home studio or whether they send me out to a studio. So we'll do that a couple weeks ahead of time. Then we'll do some dress rehearsals. The day of the show, we'll do a full-on dress rehearsal, fine tuning any little things that we have to do. Then we'll have like the crew lunch. The doors will open. I'll get to do the red carpet, kind of take a little breather and enjoy the events. The show will finally open. So either I'll open the show, get people seated in their seats, and then the show actually starts and we live in like chaos for about 2 to 3 hours backstage. Then the show finally closes and I go home and rethink, why am I in this business? But then realize I actually love the thrill and chaos of it all. But that's basically a typical day in how a show goes. And the person that's cueing me, it's usually the director, or if there's an AD, an assistant director as well, that's also cueing me. So there's a lot of chatter and talk in the headphones from the directors and the production and the lighting and audio and whoever else needs to talk and stage managers and stuff. But while all those voices are going on, I'm only listening specifically for the one person who'll be cueing me that show. So it depends if it's the director, or if there's two directors, there'll be the AD cueing me. And that's the only voice I have to listen to make sure they say, go cue, go announce, go VO, go VOG, go Queen Noveen. I always ask them, how do you call the show? What do you want to call me? I don't want to give you a term. You tell me what you call me, what you're used to doing, and I'll go off of that and listen to that, because you already have a million stuff going on. So they're the ones who are just cueing me throughout the show. And yeah, it can be pretty chaotic.
I am so fascinated that you get the entire like show cueing in your ear. I feel like I've used live announcers for my sporting events, and we usually keep them off headset and have them just sitting next to me as the venue producer or show caller, so that I can just verbally not on headset, so they don't have to hear that. So that is another, I'm extra impressed.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
like, the fact that you have to listen to that and talk. I usually try to protect my announcers, so that is shocking. That's how it works, even on those big stages.
It might just be only me, because they do ask me, hey, do you want to hear everything that's going on, or do you want it to just be you? I like to know what's going on, especially with these live award shows. Things change last minute, and I need to know where we are in the script, because there are script changes. We cut this act, we're switching that around. I need to know everything that is going on, so I like to listen to it. So for those, I'm not generally next to the director, but for the sporting events, like for the 49ers, they're right next to me cueing me, so I don't have to wear the headphones.
That makes sense. It's so cool to kind of hear how it works. And you said that you kind of like the chaos a little bit, and I think a lot of us resonate with that. I think anyone in this industry thrives in the chaos just a little bit.
We're so crazy. We're
yeah, exactly. So totally understand you there. One of the things that Logan and I, we are not professional speakers by any means. Sometimes we have the opportunity to speak, and I know we kind of like look at each other and we're like, okay, you ready? Like, let's do this. And Logan's talked about like her Wonder Woman stance that she'll do to kind of hype herself up. So you sound like you're really natural in this space. You have a lot of experience, but do you have any like routines or rituals that kind of get you in the zone, or how do you keep that energy up?
Yeah, so for me, I kind of just have natural energy I've had ever since I was a child. It's just never really gone away. And fun fact, I don't drink coffee. So where this energy comes from, I still don't know. But some of my routines and rituals that I do is weeks leading up, I watch what I eat. I I'm aware of where I go, what I do, because I don't ever want to catch a cold. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get into an accident, especially with these live award shows. It's tight if they're even able to replace me with someone. But I do all of that leading up. When I have my script, I like to review my lines out loud. I go through every single page, every single detail, just so I'm aware of everything that's happening in the show, highlighting and marking up my book. For my lines, I like to go through each of my lines and put markings in the script, because there are multiple times that I will say, please welcome. And I never want to do it the same way all the time. So it could be, please welcome, please welcome, please welcome. So I always try to mix it up a little bit, so not the same tones and intonations throughout the show. So going through my book, the night before, I sleep with a humidifier beside my bed because my throat does get a little dry and I want to make sure it's ready for show day. I have a full meal. I pre-pack. I check all my details to make sure I'm going to the right place at the right time on the correct day to make sure my details are in order, get a full night's rest. And then the day of the show, I find my booth, I take in my area, I get to know my contacts, so who my director is, who's going to be cueing me, check in with audio, make sure I know where the bathroom is, that kind of stuff. Make sure I know where Crafty is, very important. And just go into the stage area and take in the environment that I'm in, what I'm working with, reminding myself of the tone of the show, the energy of the show that it's going to be. So just fully immersing myself in the event. And I'm just really excited to start the day and be a part of a show that everyone's excited to see.
I love it. And you mentioned Crafty. For our non-broadcast friends, that's the food and beverage, the snacks, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Where
Very
everything is.
Oh, I can't imagine the routine. I just had a show earlier this year that I had to call over 350 cues to our graphics operator, and we had to rehearse it multiple times all day. And it was just one of those, by the end of it, I was like, I need tea. I was like, you're not hearing my voice on a microphone, but everyone has to be able to hear me. And I could already feel, I was like, got to just be extra hydrating and thinking about that. So
absolutely.
No, I definitely hear you. And what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people have about live announcing, especially the idea of, it's just reading into a mic, or something we're seeing in the event space is AI can do it. What are you seeing?
Well, to an extent, it is just reading into a mic, but that's not all of it. The most important thing is learning how to read first and foremost. A lot of people can read, but I feel like a lot of people aren't comfortable reading into a mic or in front of a crowd. It's a pretty chaotic environment, so you have to be able to deal with last minute changes, taking directions under pressure with millions of people talking in your ear at once, maintaining a consistent tone throughout the show, pacing and your timing. If we're running out of time in the show, being able to speed up what you're reading without sounding like it's being sped up, or, oh, we have time to fill, so slow it down without sounding like you're slowing it down. If you make a mistake, being able to pick up from that mistake. So there's so much more that goes on behind the scenes. Even sometimes the show can be 2 to 3 hours. You don't always have a bathroom break. So taking your bathroom break right before the show and then running at the very end. So it's a lot that you have to be able to maintain behind the scenes. And when it comes to AI, the thing that I like to say is that AI can copy, but they can't connect. They don't know how to connect to people, relate to people. They don't have that emotion, those things that we go through as humans and experience as humans, to be like, oh, you know what? I can relate to that person. They can relate to me as well. AI only knows how to do what we tell them to do. So I feel like having that human connection between us within these shows really helps to energize the show for what it is. And I think that's really important.
Well, and to your point, the intonations that you do, that just that nuance of saying you do the welcome slightly different. I guess I'm seeing more of my smaller clients who don't have a budget for a voice actor. They maybe only have 2 or 3 VOGs that they need, and they're using AI. And I'm like, you can start. I'm like, the intonation it's not. I would say actually it's probably off. It's just they're not putting the right emphasis on the right.
You can tell too.
Yeah, my dad joke is they're not putting the right emphasis on the right syllable. It's not wrong, but
you could tell something's off. This sounds a little weird.
Yeah, I'm usually oh, this is AI, right? And I know you can coach it, and I've had people, but I am hopeful. And if you're a voice actor or actress listening to this, there is forever going to be work, to your point, of having that connection and that human and that ability to pivot. like having to re-record something. I mean, AI still takes time to redo that.
Yes.
But the smaller work, maybe that'll go away because again, I'm seeing folks leaning on that tool when again, they only need a handful for their first speaker and maybe like 2 announcements at their conference or event.
Yeah, I've seen some of your videos when we're talking about pivoting, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you posted some stuff where you get a cue and you're like, you have to change something that you were planning on doing in like 5 seconds and just get
Yes.
ready and do the thing, which sounds like so much pressure. Like I can't even imagine. So I have anxiety just thinking about that. So like, can you tell us about a moment when maybe something like that happened? It didn't go according to plan and how you handled it?
Yeah, so there was a live award show that I did. I don't remember exactly which one, but it was early on in my career where we did pre-records for the show. And then I also have my live lines as well. And we were going out to a commercial break and it was supposed to be me live doing the lines. And I remember starting going, coming up. And then I heard myself also starting. Like it wasn't me, but it was pre-recorded me. And I was like, and I had that split second, literally a millisecond to assess what just happened, realize what just happened, and continue as if that little pause was just a regular pause versus like something just happened, like that kind of thing. And I realized they had played my pre-recording audio by accident and they realized in that split second. So it was like coming up Miley Cyrus, da, 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 and they stopped it instantly, which was amazing. But then I was like, I have to keep going. I can't be like, what was that? I heard something. No, we're on live TV. You have to keep going. So literally right after the commercial break, they were trying to figure out what that was. And they're like, sorry, press the pre-record thing. And I was like, okay, cool. We figured it out. I was like, it wasn't me. I mean, it was me, but it wasn't me, like that kind of thing. So things like that can happen, even if it's you not making a mistake, but you just have to learn to keep going with the flow no matter what happens.
I mean, that is a valuable skill. I mean, and that's part of like you probably again working with some of the same people and over and you trusting they got your back and they're not going to keep playing that incorrect track while you're trying to talk over it. And but also we're all human and that happens.
Exactly.
I see that come up at shows. So you mentioned you've announced some major events like the MTV at VMAs, the SAG Awards, and much more. Do you have one that really pushed you out of your comfort zone the most, and why?
I'm not sure if I have one that pushed me out of my comfort zone. I just love doing live announce as a whole, just voicing everything from big award shows to pre-recorded events to smaller galas and ceremonies. But I would say one that was the most challenging for me was when I did NASCAR for the first time. Now, I grew up watching NASCAR with my family, so I absolutely loved it. I understood the energy and the vibe of it all. But I remember when I had to go there and do the announcing was for the pre-race ceremony. So the national anthem and who we're honoring that day and all that kind of stuff. And our championship 4 drivers. And I remember giving all of my energy as much as I could because I wanted to match the atmosphere and the energy of the racetrack and of the fans. And I remember after I had finished the ceremonies, I was just, my body felt like it was still going. It was still like the Energizer Bunny. And I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like I gave too much to the point that my voice was starting to hurt towards the end of my last couple of lines. So right after I'd finished all of my announcing, I went back to my green room. I was like, we need to turn off the lights. We need to just be silent. And I need to just lay down and breathe because I had gave too much that I felt like I was burning myself out. And so since then, when I did it my second and third year, I realized I don't need to give as much. I don't need to push as much. Who I am is enough, and finding that medium in how much energy I wanted to give. And the next few years was actually a lot better, and I didn't burn myself out. I didn't push too hard. I wasn't losing my voice. So every event that I do can be different, but it's learning where to place my voice so that way I'm not hurting it again the next time.
There's so many lessons learned out of what you just said, because out of all the work that we're doing, whether we're event planners, we're in the production world, whatever it is, there is a level of, I mean, it's known in the industry that there's a high level of stress. There just is. There's lots of pressure and stress. And I think a lot of us have felt that way. Like when you're describing that, I'm like, I know what you mean. Like I felt like that in other circumstances when I'm planning an event and there's so many things going on and I have like 10 million questions that people are asking me and it's exciting and crazy and all the things. So yes, absolutely. What you said.
Validated.
Yes. You've had so many awesome accomplishments. One of the things is that you made history as part of the first all-female PA announcing team for the 49ers, which is so cool. What does that milestone mean for you?
It means a great deal, and I'm just honored to have been asked to even be a part of it because, you don't see a lot of females, much less females of color, in the position that I'm in, working with the NFL, working with the 49ers, announcing these big, big games. And I think it's really awesome that the 49ers asked me to be a part of their Football for All initiative, which celebrates the diversity of the Bay Area and people who work in the sports industry. And so I got to be the entertainment announcer alongside another female announcer. Her name is Jamie Coffey, and she did the play-by-play. And we had our third year just last year doing it, and it's really awesome working with her. And I'm just so happy to be part of this Football for All initiative. So they'll have like a gay men's chorus doing the national anthem. They'll have the Native American women warriors doing the color guard, the junior gold rush cheerleaders doing the halftime show, which is all inclusion of everyone. And I think it's really awesome because it's who we are. This is all different kinds of people. And I think it's really exciting to be a part of that every year.
Oh, I am such a Jamie Coffey fan. I literally wrote on a Post-it note, does she know Jamie Coffey? Because I was going to say, if you don't, I need to make that introduction. I've worked with her for a number of sporting events for like collegiate sports, and I get tickled. And shout out Jamie if we'll send this to you. Hopefully, is like when I hear her voice when I'm at home watching on TV, I'm like, yeah, Jamie, I love it because she's got oh my gosh, that's such a pro. So happy that the pros know each other already.
Thank you. Yeah, she's so awesome. I love working with her. It's so much fun every year.
Yeah, listeners, just another example of how big and small this world is at the same time, and I love it for it. You've mentioned so many different types of events, and maybe you can't pick a favorite, but we would love to ask, do you have a favorite type of event to announce?
Yeah, that is a hard question. I don't know if there's one in particular type of event I like to announce, but I love a type of live announcing, if that makes sense. So I love to announce these award shows and all these kinds of projects on camera. I'm actually an Emmy-nominated on-camera talent, voiceover talent, so that's really exciting. But I come from a theater background, so I'm not afraid of crowds. I'm not afraid of doing things in front of an audience. So I love being able to bring live announcers and bring these voice actors on camera to show people who we are and what we can do. And I just feel like I naturally have a lot of energy and I have that presence to be on stage. Like I said, I started in theater, so it doesn't scare me or shock me at all. And for a few events that I've done, I've actually got to be on camera. One event was like, hey, we need you to open the Willie Nelson 90th birthday at the Hollywood Bowl here in LA. And they asked me like 20 minutes before and they wrote up a script and I was like, what's going on, everybody? How we feeling? I absolutely loved it. And it was 2 nights. And I was like, yeah, I can do this again. Let's do it. It was so much fun. Another event had me doing announcing on camera. There was another one as well, but I absolutely get a thrill out of doing stuff on camera. So bringing the theater aspect of me and the live announcing aspect of me and kind of putting those together and putting me on camera, I'm like, I could do this forever. I love it.
That's amazing because it's not for everybody. And so, you love it and you're amazing at it. So that's just the best.
Thank you.
You shared earlier that you signed with a company and that's how they send you a lot of this work. Are there any other ways, or when you were getting started, how did you find those gigs and jobs at these events?
Yeah, so when I first got into voiceover, I had signed with an agent pretty much right away. I know they do have separate websites where people can submit their demos and their work and try to get work from there, but I never really had any experience doing that. So right when I got a voiceover agent, they're the ones who send me these auditions for all these types of gigs that I'm doing. So that's the traditional way of getting voiceover gigs if you have an agent. But for me, more so down the line for the past 3 or 4 years, a lot of it has been from social media in terms of the live announcing side. So putting my work out there, showing the behind the scenes, it really captured the attention of like executive producers and production companies and directors, seeing what I can do, which in turn has them reaching out saying, hey, would you be interested in voicing this show for us? Hey, we'd love to have you for that. Are you available? So that's what it's been like for the past 3 or 4 years. And it's been a while actually since I think I've auditioned for a live announce gig. A lot of it has been offers, and the ones have been offers have been repeats each year. So a lot of these shows I'm doing this award season, I've been doing for the past 2-3 years already. So I am booked for 8 award shows this season, and I just did my first one last week, and then I have another one this week. And then I'm off to NFL honors the week after in San Francisco. And it's just all the way up until March. So my year starts off with a bang every year.
Well, we are thrilled that you were able to make time with us for us in that schedule. And we're glad you're booked and busy. That's what we aspire for anybody that we have on the podcast and friends of the pod. Our kind of second to last question here. You mentioned it a bit about your social media posts have turned into kind of a lead generator for you. Like, what first got you to think about posting? And then how have you continued to manage that with your actual live announce and acting work?
Well, when I first started, when I had social media, I had Instagram, I was private. I wasn't sharing any of the work that I've done. And mind you, I was already maybe 4 years into voiceover doing these award shows. And it wasn't until I met my husband, who also is my manager, and he was like, oh, no. You're way too cool and inspiring to be hiding behind the camera and behind the mic. We need to get you out there and show people what you do, because you could really be inspiring others. And so I was like, okay, you know what, let me try it. And then he helped me create these videos, and that's just what's been snowballing on social media. So he's the one who really encouraged me to put myself out there. And it's been eye-opening for people who don't know what live announcing is and didn't even think, again, that we were real people. And it's actually inspired other people to want to get into voice acting, to want to start doing live announcing and get into this world, especially a lot of females and females of color. So I'm really proud to have been able to be encouraged by him and to do that. So I owe him a lot of things. But when it comes to managing it with my live announce work, a lot of these events don't mind it, because one, it's like more press for them and for people to tune in to see these shows. And again, it teaches people what live announcing is. So a lot of them have been able to even give me more opportunities when I'm voicing these events with them. Like, hey, we'd love for you to showcase this on your social media. Hey, we'd love to do a collab with you on your social media like this. So it's really worked hand in hand with each other. And all of that in turn, I ended up doing a live announce masterclass last year that actually sold out. And it was great to have people come and teach them everything that I know. So at least they know these things ahead of time. Because again, when I started in live announce, I didn't know anything. I just fell into it and learned along the way. But it's really been great sharing my knowledge with everyone and encouraging people, this is an industry that you can get into too.
That's really cool and inspiring. And I'm excited to just like watch some upcoming award shows and just see if I happen to hear your voice. We'll see. I don't know. But now I'm going to be listening, which we always talk about in events. We're like, we have no event chill. We can't just like attend or watch something. We're always like trying to watch and listen for what's going on.
I can't watch them the same. I'm like, who's voicing that? Okay, this is how they did this inflection. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore.
Oh, I've dabbled now enough of hearing broadcast. I'm always like, messed up a camera crew, like watching, like, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm the worst person. I'm like, someone's getting chewed out right now.
Yeah, I feel like if you're in entertainment like this, you don't watch TV the same. I recently got back into commercials, and I have a commercial that just started airing, a Toyota commercial. And now I'm seeing all these other commercials on TV, and I'm like, oh, that's how they acted that. Oh, that's how they did that. Okay, I wonder what that audition was like. And I'm like, I can't watch TV the same. I cannot. I can't undo it. I can't even turn it off. So I get that.
We ruin everything for ourselves. I know.
Me too.
So a lot of our listeners are event planners or organizers as well. And so whether it's through that or through the production world, I'm sure you've interacted with these types of folks before. And so how can you say that we can support live announcers and just talent in general better based on your experience?
Well, I'd say throughout my experience, I haven't had any major like issues or conflicts. It's been pretty good so far. But hearing from like other voiceover colleagues, one of them actually the other day shared with me that when she was doing an event, they ended up putting her in the room itself versus backstage. And she didn't know she was going to be on camera for here and there and those kinds of things. So I feel like giving as much information as possible ahead of time, especially for the people who aren't used to being on camera or don't want to be on camera, just so they're prepared. I mean, with me, I kind of just go with the flow. So theater has really helped me. It doesn't really bother me, but anything you can do to kind of help prepare the voice actors, giving them as much information as possible, the script ahead of time, that kind of stuff, I feel like you guys kind of already do. But I would say when working with individual announcers, talk to them, because everyone kind of has their own needs and stuff. Talk to them individually and see if there's anything that they need. Is there anything that happened last time that they think that they could change? Is there something that you're worried about? How has your experience been in the past? Is there something that you'd like to change? I feel like you can learn a lot from asking them individually on their needs and necessities throughout the different shows, and maybe what they have experience on doing in the past. And sometimes we can also kind of just make your job easier. We try to make it as easy as possible. Just knowing what our job is, and just doing everything. Yeah.
I think those are some great tips. I feel like you mentioned it's given, but sending script ahead of time. Please, 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 to anyone listening, do it, because I have been present when they've been like, it's not done until you're on, and like even 80% done, they'll take it just to get an idea of.
Yes, that is a good point. At whatever you have ahead of time, just to give us an idea of what we're going to be saying or what the vibe is of the show. Because it's happened where I've gotten very last minute. I'm like, just send me something. I just need to know what's going on. Send me something, please.
Yep. Something is better than nothing. But
Yes.
Queen Noveen, we're having so much fun with this. So if you don't mind, we're gonna do a couple quick hitters for you before we wrap up. First one is, what's your favorite mic?
I love the shotgun mic, the Sennheiser 416. That's what I've used since day one. I have used, I believe, Rode mic before. I've used handheld mics before. For these shows, I just show up and it's whatever mic that they have. But the Sennheiser is just one that I've used from day one. So that's my OG.
Nice. All right. Next quick hitter question. What's your go-to drink or snack for these long event days?
Oh, okay. I'd have to have straight water, even though I would want like an orange Fanta or Sprite or something. Straight water, room temperature. I don't like it too cold because my gums are really sensitive. Snack, every time, again, crafty with the snack table. If I see seaweed, like dried seaweed in the packs, I will take all of them and just leave one. I love the dry seaweed. So I'm like, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Just take all of them.
For you.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Next one, the weirdest phrase or script you've had to read live.
Oh my gosh, the weirdest phrase or script I've had to read live. There has been one where I think it was an outro of, I forget exactly how it was written, but it was an outro basically telling the crowd, you know what, thanks for coming. We'll see you next year, something like that. But sometimes these lines I feel like aren't read out loud. So it sounds a little weird. And so I have to try to inflect it in a way where it sounds normal. I don't remember the exact line, but sometimes just please read them out loud before you send it to us.
Yeah, the end of the script, somebody was like, we'll fix that later. And then you just focus on
Exactly.
everything
They're like,
else.
oh, just say bye. And I'm like, okay.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Well, okay. So to end us off today, we really just appreciate your time. So thank you truly for sharing your expertise with us. Can you share a little bit more about where listeners can find you, or if there's anything else that you want to add that we didn't cover today?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you again for having me. This was a lot of fun to chat with you guys. You can find me on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Queen Noveen. On YouTube, I've started to create these vlogs of the behind the scenes events, longer forms of what goes on behind the scenes and my day-to-day throughout these award shows. So you can check out a lot of that on YouTube. But you can find me online. I have a website, queennoveen.com, that I showcase a lot of my work, where I also have my demos, my resume, and my media kit. But I'm looking forward to the future, into 2026. I'm hoping to reach my goal of working with the Disney Channel network, the Walt Disney Company. I'm a big Disney fan. This is my only tattoo right here. It has been a goal since day one to do that. So I'm working to try to get on their animation side and work with Disney and Pixar and stuff. So Disney, if you're listening, I'm still here. I'm available. See, there's Mickey right there. We're available.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Queen Noveen. We appreciate you taking the time, and we can't wait to hear you on our TVs very, very soon.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. And Mary, you have our bonus tip this week.
I do have our bonus tip. All right. So as you know, sometimes these tips are related, sometimes they're not. This one is unrelated today, but this is for you folks who are working with a team, whether that is your own team of employees, maybe you have contractors on your team. This is your friendly, simple reminder to have team check-ins, perhaps weekly with your team. And this might be super obvious, but if you're like me, you may have kind of got off the bandwagon with this. So when the new year started, and I think the end of last year was busy too, we just stopped having our team meetings, and all of a sudden I was like, so we haven't talked to each other in like a really long time. So we need to start getting on board with this again. And it's just a great time to check, reconnect, and then make sure that everybody feels supported. So if you are like me and you need a friendly reminder to get your team meetings back up and running, here it is.
Thanks, Mary. That's a great reminder. We're a month or two into the year. Folks should hopefully be doing those check-ins. Appreciate it. That brings us to the end of our episode. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Better Events Pod. You can send us an email at bettereventspod@gmail.com. You can also connect with Mary and I directly on LinkedIn. We love hearing from you, but please just let us know in the note you heard about us through the podcast. And if you want more Better Events content, join us on our private community on Substack. As always, we want to thank you for listening, and we'll be back in your feeds again next Wednesday.